Teresa.
Hi, Marcel.
Okay, so now we have some time to talk to you and about running for school trustee of SD23.
Kelowna, yeah.
Can you give some more information about why people should know who you are?
Well, I have been with PACs, Parent Advisory Committees, for 22 years. I've worked with school planning councils for 7. That's where you work with the principal once a month. I worked with children with learning difficulties. I had a lady that lived with me with learning difficulties. And I've coached over 20 teams. And out of all of that, I have never had a complaint.
Well, you got a good little resume to build, involved with people in the community. What made you aware and decide to run for school trustee?
Well, when I started hearing about the government indoctrinating information to our children that are not letting them use their own imaginations. I think children should be able to use their own imaginations, not be told who or what they should be. Lots of us always had an imaginary friend. That wasn't unusual, but when we're told or given a label, and I know that from working with children, when I labeled a child and that child heard that label, they became that label. So when you start labeling children, I believe they will become that label.
And what was happened, from going to some of these meetings, right? We've learning about what was going on in the school district during, the last 2 years. A lot of people weren't even allowed in the schools, right? And so there was being a lot of certain things being pushed on the children, and not what parents would not agree with, right? And so, what do you think about what our kids have been taught, and why a lot of parents were pulling their children out of school, and what can we do to change that?
Well, a lot of our kids have been taught some information that is not age appropriate. There should be no sexual orientation stuff in elementary school to the degree that they were teaching them, I believe. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with anybody's sexual orientation when you're an adult. But as a child, I think that children need to grow on their own, and they learn from their parents. It's all family values. And parents are these days very aware of what's going on in the world. It's not unusual to see a couple, as in 2 women or 2 men, and we just explain to our children, which is what I did 10 years ago with my daughter. And these kids are different now. They're not so racist like we used to be and calling them names. They understand, these kids now.
And on that same subject, like you said, in sometimes grade 1, grade 2, pushing agendas on the children, sexual agendas, and it's they're just kids. They don't know anything. They're not even allowed, to drink until they're 19, and yet you will force your ideologies on kids in grade 1, and this, this is what I see. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I think that also takes away from our critical thinking. So now we're forcing these kids to imagine things that you want them to imagine, and they aren't critically thinking. They're not able to imagine what they want to imagine. If they want to have an imaginary friend, that's fine, let them have it, but let it be on their terms. Let their imaginations run. Give them a piece of paper and a pen and let them do art and look at their imaginations. It's amazing what they'll do. But giving them things to draw or telling them what to do, we're not helping them at all. There's no critical thinking.
Perfect. And so there's 4 positions for the Kelowna school trustee?
There is 4 positions, yeah. And I'm running under the umbrella of Parents' Voice. Parents' Voice is a grassroots organization that started about 6 weeks ago, actually. And we all have the same values basically of what I told you. We're trying to get back numeracy and literacy into the schools. Parents have their values and ideals, and we need to honor that, and we need to get parents back into the schools and listen. If we're introducing a program, we need to listen to the parents. If they don't feel that program's going to work with their children, we seriously need to start listening to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking your time and getting involved, from volunteering your time, on the weekends to going to the meetings and just getting involved and learning, because most people just don't put in the effort. And I know it's worked out well for you and worked out well for me to kind of, teach everybody about what we're doing.
Yeah, so vote for us next Saturday, I guess, the 15th. Wow. So thank you, Marcel. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thanks. And let's just get a shot of your information on their pamphlet.
Oh, yeah.
Open up your pamphlet.
I got more in my hand, so.
And there we go. October 15th is the election. So I'm going to vote for Teresa, of course. And there's some other people as well running for the positions. And thanks a lot.
Thanks, Marcel.
Cheers. Anyways, this is Marcel with Irnieracing News, guys. October 15th, the vote for school trustee in the Okanagan. Make sure you get involved. And don't just pull your kids out of school. Get involved so you can actually keep them in the government schools. Cheers.